Bang, let's go. Go. Okay. Okay. Let's see if we can make this pop. Let's see if we
send you the invitation. Here you go.
Hello.
All right. Let me invite some people. We got to. If you have like, we'll do a short one, and then we'll reschedule for this evening if you want. Is that cool?
Yeah. They're cool.
Okay.
They're cool.
Let me introduce. Okay. All right. Hold on. Here. Let me invite some people right now.
Okay.
Bang bang. Here we go. I'm inviting everybody. Everybody's getting it. Everybody's getting it. Everybody is getting it. Bang. All right. Here we go.
Hello.
Mushroom
How are you?
Queen.
How are you?
All right. We made it happen. Teamwork makes a dream work. So
it helps when your husband is an engineer.
It does help with not just any old engineer. Now you can't sell him short. You can't sell the genius in the mountains short. You gotta tell the people what type of engineer he is.
Yeah,
so,
he's all right.
So people are coming now. We're clearly a half an hour behind of where we wanted to be. But I just wanted to do this to kind of tease up, and we'll come back and do a full interview tonight. But folks, this is the woman who I was trying to give y'all just a little bit of a sense who she is. It's the largest commercial mushroom grower on the island of Jamaica. You can't get nothing done in terms of mushrooms in Jamaica if you don't go through her. This woman, she's a Renaissance woman. She's a scientist. She's an artist. She's a farmer. She is a reporter. She is an activist. This is an all-around Renaissance woman. Please I need y'all to start putting your little hearts together and put your hands together. Welcome. Give a warm welcome to the Mushroom Queen, aka Pauline Smith.
Thank you. Sorry it took me so long to get hooked in. I'm an anthropologist, not really good at the internet stuff, so I needed help to come back home. It is so good to see you. You were trying to say what's happening with Amanda. Amanda Fielding is more incredible than what you read about her. She's one of those wonderful, open-hearted women who has just embraced everything that we're doing mushrooms. She is the psychedelic queen. If I'm the mushroom queen, she's the psychedelic queen who has been working on for so long, and she is really committed to the cause. Plant medicine and making mushrooms and other psychedelic available to people across boundaries is really important, the work we're doing.
Okay. So really quickly, while I got these people on the line, it looks like we have a few people here looking. Folks, if you think that there is anybody who would be interested in hearing probably one of the best connected people internationally, but definitely the largest commercial mushroom grower in Jamaica, and she's one of the people at the forefront of a place where psychedelic mushrooms are legal in Jamaica. If you know people that want to hear her speak, look down at your little box, and you see that box with the arrow. I need you to go through there and do the same thing I did, and just send all your friends an invite. So just go through and just hit send. Don't worry if you bother them. they're under quarantine anyway. So just go ahead and send them the invite and have them see one of the most prolific black women on the face of this earth speak. Having that said, continue whatever you were saying. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I just want to make sure that everybody gets a little piece of the queen.
One of the questions that was asked about why we went into mushroom was that people don't understand that Jamaica is like most places. We have some of the most extreme wealthy people here, but we also have some of the most extremely poor people.
Yeah.
And women in a lot of ways have been left out of agriculture. And this is along with tourism. When you go to the rural areas, agriculture is what keeps a family going. And those women who have no land, or young people who have no land, they needed some place. And mushroom, regardless of edible, functional, medicinal, or psychedelic, it allows the individual to participate in agriculture and commerce without having a lot of land and a lot of capital to start. So a woman can be given 10 grow bags and she can make enough that is twice the minimum wage. So she can make $120, $150 a week. Now that doesn't sound a lot if you live in California or New York, but $150 a week can feed a family of 4 in Jamaica.
It sounds like $150 a week based upon the information you told me, where people are getting $50 a week. Sounds like $150 a week in Jamaica is the equivalent of a job that pays you $45 an hour here in the States. It sounds like you could make a decent living off of that. And so that's what you created. You created a program to support women and families that way.
That is what our program does. We are called the Network of Women for Food Security.
Okay.
And so food security, what a lot of people don't know is that countries like Canada and America export the back of the chicken, the bones that nobody wants. And a lot of countries like mine, poor people, that's what they eat. They eat chicken back.
Yeah.
Which is it's really just bones and fat. But if you add some oyster mushroom to that chicken back, then all of a sudden you have a much more delicious meal, and that the family is now able to add their own source of protein. So this is not just about the medicinal mushrooms. This is about edible and functional mushrooms. And we also have an explosion of psychosis at different levels of our society. And so the psilocybin mushroom is now becoming the treatment of choice for a lot of people here. So we're talking about food, we're talking about medicine, and we're talking about mental health when you're talking about mushrooms. And right now, the respiratory support that oyster mushroom gives to the body is amazing for my country in time of the COVID.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. This brings us to another very interesting thing that I think that people might benefit from hearing. So you're talking about respiratory support that you get from the oyster, but what about the respiratory support you didn't get from the oyster? Can you tell them a little? Can you tell them a little bit about that?
My life is one of irony. I was very careless. I went in one night and I could see, if you grow oyster mushrooms, there are times between, say, 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock in the morning in our grow where you can't really see anything because the spores comes in showers, like almost as if someone is blowing talcum powder around the room. And I'd been away all day, and I'm really crazy about my husband. Even after 26 years, he's still my favorite guy.
That's
and
a fact.
so I had been out of the house in Ocho Rios in meetings and by the seaside, and I came back and I wanted to tell him all about it. And so I stood in a oyster mushroom spore shower for 45 minutes.
Whoa.
And by the time I left the room, I could touch my face and find spores on it. Well, I went to bed, and textbook case, 3.5 hours later, I woke up and my lungs was starting to fill up with fluid. When I got to the hospital, hubby's very skinny, and I'm like a bigger girl, but he's pretty strong. So I kind of fainted, and I knew he picked me up and put me in the car and got me to the hospital in about 3 minutes. And when we got there, I found out I had 30 minutes to live because in 30 minutes, all my organs would be closed, shut down, and I would have drowned it in my own fluid from the inside out. And that's what you need to do as a mushroom farmer, and especially working with poor farmers. We needed to include safety gear
Yeah.
for that. But the magic of mushroom is that the same mushroom that got me sick is now the best mushroom for my health.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. I saw somebody in here who is talking, who looks like they had questions about the respiratory benefits of the oyster. And personally, I'm taking my little micro doses. I got my little micro dose packs of my cordyceps and the others. But like, what are because cordyceps help for the mushroom function, but I mean for the lung function. But you're saying the oyster helps for the lung function as well?
Yes, the best source of lovastatin for cholesterol and for also for bringing the inflammation of the lungs down is oyster mushroom. The first person who discovered this decided to patent the word lovastatin. So if you do a search on lovastatin, it will tell you that it comes from oyster mushrooms. So
Oh,
instead of taking some chemicals in the morning, you just have to eat 4 ounces of oyster mushrooms a day.
okay. All right. Well, thank you. I think you just dropped the jewel on the people who don't know, and for all the people who just came, thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in. We finally got the show up, and I just want to reintroduce this the Mushroom Queen. She's the largest commercial grower in Jamaica. She has a 50-acre farm in Mandeville, and yeah, this is the queen. This is a legend as far as I'm concerned. So thank you for joining. And if you know anybody else who is interested in medicinal mushrooms, gourmet mushrooms, or psychedelic mushrooms, use that arrow right next to the comment box and invite them. If you have any questions, please feel free to type the question in the comment box. And we're going to reschedule this. We're going to reschedule this interview again because it's a half an hour late. But having all that said, I did have some questions that were lined up. Let me just look at my questions really quick. Or if anybody else has any questions, please feel free to share them. So yeah, we kind of just started talking because we know each other, but talking about COVID and talking about respiratory. What are you doing to keep sane? I know you have a beautiful space up on that hill, but like, what are you doing considering the quarantine just to keep your head about you?
Well, the week before the quarantine, we had your friend and my customer and partner, Nick Murray, from Advanced Care and Wake Network, was here
Okay.
doing retreats. And he stayed to do the retreats. And coming back
Okay.
from Montego Bay, we found a little puppy on the road. So he's by the sea taking care of a puppy. Um, so what we've been doing together is we've just been committed to building out infrastructure. So
Okay.
we have heavy equipment on the farm. We have aggregate being delivered, and we're keeping going. Ronald is making that lab for you.
Yep.
He worked on the lab all day yesterday and today. Um, and I think I just left him in the kitchen doing agar. So we haven't stopped working at
Okay.
all. And we have a lot of calls for mushrooms. So a lot of people are finding out that vitamin C and oyster mushroom is important. And also magic mushroom is kind of helping a lot of my friends pass the day. Hey, if you're locked up and you can't go outside, try a little golden teacher. It will help you.
Yeah.
2 or 3 ounces of Burma. And it's all legal, baby, and you don't have to do anything. So my friends are taking inner trips lately instead of going out to the store.
You mentioned your friend Nick doing retreats. I know you and I are partnered in retreats as well. Can you talk a little bit about the Jamaica retreats and how you tie into that? And then let's talk to the fact. Let's say if somebody is on the line, because we have a few retreats actually on the call right now, and that are actually in Jamaica. And so let's say that they clearly already have their own retreats because they're running retreats, but they might want fruit bodies. Talk to me about, if you're able to supply these other places where some of the fruit bodies and just your retreats in general.
Well, there's so many. I think at first, a lot of people who were already doing retreats got very upset that new people were coming to do retreats. But what I've found out is that retreats in Jamaica can be a lot like love.
Yep.
There's room for everybody. The retreats that Jim and OLP came down and did, they were working on training the trainers and training mental health professionals on how to administer psilocybin. Nick's retreat is very different. Nick works with actual patients. And so
Mm.
people who have post-traumatic stress, soldiers, athletes, treatment-resistant depression, people who are actually patients came
Yeah.
to Nick's retreat, and he uses a lot of technology. So he monitors their heart, and he's got smartware, and he's got a lot of tech that goes with his retreat. So the retreats I'm involved with, they range anywhere from treating the actual patient to
Hmm.
training the professionals who do. But then there's a lot of retreats in the middle that are individuals that want to take that leap in their lives, and so they
Okay.
want to try not a micro dose alone, or they don't want a mini dose to just have fun. They would like to make that big therapeutic step. And
Okay.
so in an assisted environment, they're coming to Jamaica to spend 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, and do several trips under the guidance of I think the same amount of people who may like a glass of wine like mushrooms. So I don't think there's room for everybody. We need to get these medicines into the hands of more and more people.
So
So there's room for
let's talk about that. So there you have these plant medicines that grow naturally everywhere in Jamaica, but you have a small group of people who are actually taking the time to cultivate them under lab conditions. But from my understanding, the majority of Jamaicans don't really eat the psychedelic mushrooms. Can you talk about that a little bit, please?
the majority of Jamaicans don't smoke weed either.
Okay.
It's like majority of Jamaicans don't drink rum. It's just not it's just not a big deal for a lot of everyday Jamaicans. Most of them just go to church and hope Jesus will do something. Um,
No shade.
no, we're waiting on him to add us to his calendar. Uh, so I don't think that's an indictment that most Jamaicans don't, they just don't think about it. It's
Yeah,
not something that they know about.
yeah.
Um, and whether you're talking psychedelics or you're talking about edible mushrooms, in the everyday palate, most of us in Jamaica are descendants of slaves.
Yeah.
And so
Y-
the
y'all just got dropped off before us.
they dropped us off, and on their way across Tahiti, they picked up some breadfruit and some other trees, and so our diets tend to be consumed with akis and fruits and vegetables that grow. So
Yeah.
not eating a lot of mushrooms or not taking magic mushrooms is the same way Jamaicans didn't used to drink Smirnoff Ice. But once it was exposed to them, the younger generation chooses to have a Smirnoff Ice or a cooler instead of having a rum and coke at the end of the day. So I think Jamaica is like any other market. Once the product has been exposed to them, they partake of it. I'm getting equal amount of calls from Jamaican citizens about magic mushroom and about wanting to do a trip because, like everybody else, they want to improve their performance level. It's now being viewed by certain groups in Jamaica that magic mushroom is a biohack.
Okay.
The
Oh
same
wow.
way they,
Wow.
the same way they are very heavy into smoothies and juices. Everybody, anywhere you go in Jamaica now, it's the coolest new cottage industry in the back of pickup trucks. People are setting up blenders and fruit stalls and linking the blender to the battery in the car to make smoothies because the millennials and the younger generation, that's what they want. They want straight up smoothies, and they want so it's the same way they are embracing mushrooms and mushroom and psychedelics.
So one of the viewers, and actually this is a very special viewer because we have a interview lined up with them, but it's the it is the POC, and I don't know if y'all use POC in Jamaica. Over here, it's People of Color Fungi Community. POC Fungi Community asked, so outsiders are benefiting, and it was said in reference to the people who were who are like holding the mushroom businesses, and so I think they're asking, are outsiders coming over, taking the wealth and then bouncing and leaving the Jamaicans out of the trade?
They did that with cannabis. They did that with cannabis, and the Rastafarians who built the cannabis trade in Jamaica got left out of it.
Okay.
But I think mushrooms is a gift from the gods, and when they gave mushrooms to Jamaica, they gave the secret to the black folks like me. So a lot of people came to a lot of white folks, a lot of rich folks, a lot of Canadians, and I'm Canadian, so I can point to them. They came down with a certain level of arrogance, thinking that they would dominate. However, when they got here, we didn't have substrate for them that they were used to. So there is no hay in Jamaica that can be bought quantity. We don't plant wheat or soya beans, so there is no bran. There is no sawdust because we have no hardwood industry. So when they got to Jamaica, they had nothing to grow the mushrooms on. But we Jamaicans had figured out how to use bamboo and lemongrass, which are common grasses here, how to use it. But built into the bamboo and the lemongrass, they're also both antifungal. So if you don't know the process of how to use it, you will end up killing your mycelium. So because of that secret, we have been put in a position where Jamaicans are going to benefit from mushrooms because they got to talk to us first before they know what to do.
Okay, thank you for that question. Just to update everybody, because we got a lot more people that came, and we're probably going to do this for about 5 to 10 more minutes. Use that arrow right next to your comment box and invite anybody that you think might be able to benefit from plant medicine, plant healing. Right now, we're talking to the largest commercial mushroom grower in Jamaica. Her name is Pauline Smith, aka the Mushroom Queen. That's what I call her. And she's talking about her women's program. that allows women to grow mushrooms. She's talking about working with Amanda Belding from the Beckley Foundation, and she's talking about how Black folks in Jamaica are not being left out of the industry. I know she's a Garveyite, and you know what? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what being a Garveyite means to you in terms of how you move around in this mushroom space.
But being a Garvey was the #1 national hero of Jamaica. So being a Jamaican, you don't have a choice, Reggie. It's like, I'm Jamaican, my grandparents are farmers, and yes, I'm a Garveyite. And the bit that works for us well is looking at enterprise as a
Uh-huh.
vehicle for empowerment of our people.
Uh-huh.
Jamaica has moved because of our attachment to people like Garvey and Michael Manley. We've moved away from seeing handouts as a good thing.
Yeah.
Garvey said to create your own. And so
Yeah.
when we started the mushroom, and I work with youth and I work with poor farmers, so it's not really just about the women, but the women was an entry point for me because women were complaining that fruit trees took too long to bear fruit, and because they had no land and the physical strength needed, because the diets of Jamaica had gotten so bad that our ladies are so overweight and we have so much the hypertension and diabetes and all of that in the land. So it was grabbing hold of that basic Garveyite principle and empowering our people through enterprise. That we don't really need handouts, we just need a handout most of the time.
Or half the time, we just need you to get the F out the way. Just get the F out the way and let me work.
Yes, yes, that's true. That's true.
um, does anybody else have any other questions? Where I could clearly talk with the Mushroom Queen forever, but she's running an enterprise over there. She got drop offs to make, and so I want to respect her time. But if anybody else has any questions, go ahead and drop them into the comment box. We'll answer them right now. Otherwise, we'll have y'all tune in tomorrow to catch who we have. Don't forget, you can follow the Mushroom Queen. Miss Pauline, can you tell them how they can get? Can you tell the people how they can get in contact with you if they have any questions? Clearly, Jamaica medicinal mushroom. Oh, I'm sorry, what? Jamaica exotic mushrooms on IG.
If you type in Jamaica mushrooms, usually I will show up. Or you can, and if you Google anything in Jamaica and mushrooms, there's usually a lady, a walking stick, and a felt hat. But Jamaica mushrooms is my IG, and JamaicaExoticMushrooms.com is our website.
When you hear her say that, I got caught up at the border one time coming to Jamaica, and I put her on the phone with the customs person. She said, "Google Jamaica mushrooms," and I pop up. And after she said that, they let me through. All right, so it looks like people are starting to get off. So, Miss Pauline, thank you so much for your time. I think we've done our stuff here. I will thank you so much. I'll talk to you offline, and we'll figure out a time that we can reschedule it so that we have the maximum amount. But I think that people got a lot from this interaction. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, Reggie. Love you lots.
Love you too. Bye bye.